Hi everyone, welcome to Club Rats. My name is John.
Faraz.
Billy.
I'm Jesiah.
So today we have Billy and Faraz back. Obviously,
Welcome back, guys.
Two big guests, much needed. We want to go over maybe the finals, probably not because it was a letdown. We'll definitely talk about the NBA draft with them, and then obviously free agency right now. So Faraz,
Major free agency.
Faraz, what was your opinion of the NBA draft? Who were your biggest winners, biggest losers, most shocking pick? Give us your analysis.
Winner obviously it's low hanging fruit. Dallas ending up with potential generational talent. Outside of that, really the draft was pretty ho hum. I feel like
kind of boring. I thought
kind of boring.
Nothing crazy.
Probably the biggest shock. You can't even really call it a shock. Ace Bailey dropping outside of the top three, which was kind of predicted throughout the week.
I saw on Instagram they had handcuffs around his feet when he came up when he got off the plane in Utah. I don't know what that is. It's good or
fake.
bad?
It's fake.
I know, but
okay.
it was funny.
It was funny.
He doesn't want to go there.
Yeah, clearly,
yeah.
But his representation or whatever you want to call it.
It's god awful.
It cost him millions.
It's Reed Cooper's dad.
So, but outside of that, I'd say the biggest shocks were obviously Yang Han-Sen being drafted by.
He was the biggest shock.
Yeah, by Portland, which whatever.
He was in the stands.
He was in the stands, and then
projected to be drafted, but he was 16 or 18 overall.
16.
Yeah.
16. Oh, he was projected to be like a second rounder.
Yeah,
it was like 35th.
He could have been drafted. But
Yeah, he was going to be drafted. It was just a matter of when, and it was kind of a reach pick.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
especially Donovan
Portland
Clingan
trade back? Like, we see that so often in the NFL. We don't see that in the NBA. Teams trade back to get the guy that they like. If Portland had their eye on him like they said they had the last 2 years, why didn't they just trade back?
Maybe there's no value in doing it.
Well, unless you're the New Orleans Pelicans, and you can.
So that's my biggest shock.
They traded back?
The Pelicans.
Well, they basically traded back into the first to get a second lottery pick, and probably the most misinformed draft deal that we've seen in quite some time, because the probability of it backfiring is extremely high.
Yeah, Joe Dumars saved the draft because it was a really boring draft, and then Joe Dumars got on the phone and he just gave up their next year's pick for a team that's not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think Queen, as much as I like him and Zion and
Kevon Looney now.
Yeah.
The theme will be that
Also
New Orleans is
who's
going
their
to
guards?
be
Jordan Poole and probably Trey Murphy, Herb Jones at the 3.
They got Alvarado still.
Yeah, but he's a bench player.
they're still
He's not bad, though.
They're still a pretty firm bottom 5 team going into the
TJ
next
McConnell?
season. And the trend of New Orleans doing things that don't make any sense is not going to be exclusive to the draft. Outside of that, I'd say probably the biggest shock to me really was that Brooklyn used all of their picks. They have 5 first-rounders, and that's 5 rookies. You don't really see that.
I don't think we've ever seen a team use all 5 of their picks in the first round.
They
and keep all of them.
Team, right?
And then they did it with weird choices,
roster.
like international players. Even the guy they got at 8. I don't think anybody had him going that high.
Igor Domini, he was that was within his range. It was in his range, late lottery. But
I thought it was going to be late lotto.
The thing is that none of the guys they picked are shooters really.
Good.
So
who's their best shooter? Wolf.
Yeah,
out of the
which
I'm not saying he's a good
yeah.
shooter. He's streaky.
But you're not counting on him to really stretch the floor on a consistent basis. Even though he was a creator at Michigan, I don't see that skill set really translating the same way in the NBA. It might, but if on paper it seems like it's going to be a little bit tougher for him to operate the same way.
They drafted 3 point guards in the first round. They drafted
Demeen,
Demi,
Bill, what
and he's number 8, and I believe, or 21, they drafted Noah Trevori. I think that's the draft
Nolan
name.
Traore.
And then at 27, they drafted Ben
Sharaf, and then Wolf.
Yeah.
Before I get to you, Bill, what did you think of the next pick?
Number 50, so who cares? If it ends up being.
What's his name? You got the man.
Mohamed Diawara. He's, it's a project.
Let's just say this about the NBA draft. How many picks they have? 60.
Mm-hmm.
You to get drafted. You have to be one of the 60th best players in the world.
Yeah, but honestly, you're not going to make.
Jesiah. Okay, so what? You're 500. I mean, it's
so
still
the second round was
hard
weak.
to get
The
drafted.
second round was weak because the NIL deals. A lot of guys that should have went in the second
Yes.
round that were legit,
Actually,
they went back to college.
We have players
because
I
of
understand.
NIL deals.
100%.
Exactly.
Well, and the second round is really that really is the crap.
These guys can still play
draft,
basketball.
Oh yeah,
they can,
But
like,
most of them aren't going to make the NBA.
yeah, and
Not
you can't,
now.
You
No,
can't
ever.
count on
Ever,
them.
ever.
You can't
So it's
count
just
on them.
pure. throwing
Yeah,
shit,
second round, you're just throwing
fishing with
against the wall.
dynamite.
Probably about 60 to 70% of them won't make it past their rookie contract
If they get one.
if they even get one.
So you'll have
Because second
about-
round picks aren't guaranteed. It's not like the first round. If you draft someone in the first round,
You get
you
4
have to
years.
you
So
have
still
to
have
keep
like
it
10 players though. That'll be good.
out of the
That's
second
pretty-
round every
yeah,
year.
no,
That's
that's
probably
pretty high.
that's probably a
Five?
good second
That's
round.
a really
Yeah,
good second round if that's
Yeah,
if
second
But
round
still,
is
5
useless.
guys. 5 guys makes a good burger. You know.
yeah, they do.
I mean, there are times that you can see a second round player, Jalen Wells of the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
this
I mean,
year.
Jokic is a
Yep.
second round player, but I mean,
Draymond.
Draymond, but I mean, those are
Draymond.
getting an instant impact player in the second round is usually doesn't happen very often.
A dime a dozen.
Yeah, so
But-
I mean, the Knicks pick technically, if you want to look at it this way, was getting Brunson because that's what they ended up forfeiting their actual second round pick for tampering, and I think the Knicks would take that trade every day of the week.
Oh, easily.
and even with Portland taking Chinese Jokic so high in the first round, it really doesn't matter if he's ever good at basketball because they're going to get so much TV money from China. Every one of their games is now going to be televised in China, so it's a great exposure for Portland.
Jersey
Sales. Like, I mean, I still see Wang Zhizhi jerseys walking around because he was drafted by the Mavericks.
And I mean, it makes a little bit more sense now in hindsight in the fact that they waived Ayton. So
Just as a caveat, how do you guys think Ayton will do with the Lakers?
I think it's a good, it's really fortuitous for them that they were able to address their biggest need coming into the offseason and essentially had a player probably that wouldn't have been available just fall into their lap.
And also for the
Terms of
money, they
difference maker.
pretty much wouldn't have been able to make that match if they tried to make that trade.
Absolutely.
They got Aiden for $8 million because Aiden's still getting paid $25 million. I think I saw by Portland.
By Portland. And really, it's a 1-year deal the way I look at it because if you're the Lakers, because if he works out in any way, shape, or form, he's obviously going to exercise his player option, and the Lakers at this juncture wouldn't be able to afford it.
Yeah, they wouldn't have his bird rights or anything.
Yeah.
So it's really just a tryout. But, I mean, it's great for the Lakers because they get a number 1 pick for free.
Bill,
In
you
the same
sent,
draft as Luka.
you sent a text message of Ayton's happy he doesn't have to worry about the ice in Portland anymore.
He missed a game because he was snowed in,
I remember
supposedly.
that was a real
That was
a
real.
real reason.
The streets are icy.
The streets are watching.
But I mean, I feel like that's really
That's
the
good.
extent of the draft. There wasn't too much.
Bill, what was your opinion on the draft in terms of, did you like the Celtics picks overall? Who do you think won? Who was kind of a disaster? Let's get more, maybe not a disaster, but loser, but not to Joe Dumars level.
Nobody's a loser to Joe Dumars level, but a winner, and it's a rare winner, is Pat Riley. I love the Illinois guard going to Miami.
Yeah.
I thought that was a steal because
That
once he
was
fell to
good.
like 19-20, I was like, oh shit,
He's
the
still on the
Celtics
table.
might actually be able to get this guy.
Duncan Robinson.
Yeah,
How fun
exactly.
is it
That would've
to
been
go
the
home?
perfect replacement.
We're sending you home.
But I think he's phenomenal. But I do like the Celtics pick. International guard, big hands. Actually, the biggest hands in the combine besides Taco Fall. So he's bigger hands than Kawhi.
Who?
Ugo Gonzalez. Yep.
What's his style of play?
Defensive, maybe a Andre Karolinko. Maybe a bigger Josh Hart, something like that. He actually can't shoot, so that's always a problem. But
Why can't the Euro shoot anymore?
it's insane.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, you would
It
think
is
that would be the one skill they have.
They're Euro trash.
But they could dribble, they could pass, and
No,
Like
they
defense,
understand the
and
game
they play the right
amazingly,
way.
but there's like not a dead shooter from there, which is like Dirk. I mean, who's a better foreign shooter than Dirk?
But it is a more physical game over there, so I do think that hurts a lot of their shooting
100%,
percentage.
I agree.
Because he's actually a good foul shooter, and that usually translates well to good 3-point shooting. But it's just he has a low 3-point percentage over there.
And that's the one skill that they leaves the most opportunity for growth. It's a lot harder to have a player who's ineffective on the other end of the floor defensively suddenly turn into somebody who's a lockdown defender or above average. Whereas you've seen players come into the league that struggle shooting initially, and then gradually
They work on it.
They work on it, and,
like Jason Kidd.
Yeah, and you're being working with shooting coaches in a professional environment, and they take off.
That's the draft, though. Some guys from college who you don't think are going to be good, some guys you think are going to be a lock, sometimes don't work out.
Yep.
Guys work hard, get better. It is basketball. Sometimes we just don't know. So you're taking shots at guys.
Bill, what's your opinion on Ace Bailey?
I think he's going to be phenomenal. Danny Ainge will just draft an athletic wing and let the coaches and everybody else figure it out.
But Ainge is going to talk to him and say, Ace, I played with Larry Bird. I was drafted by Red Auerbach or traded for by Red Auerbach. I don't know which one how he got him. He's going to relax. He had Paul Pierce, who hated Boston for years and ended up winning a championship. Now, this isn't Boston. It's Utah. But it wouldn't shock me if Ace Bailey was the best player in this draft.
Do you think he knows who Red Auerbach is?
No. But he could. No, he doesn't.
He probably doesn't know who Danny Ainge is, if we're being honest.
But they could get through to him.
Oh, for sure. But
I think they will.
I think this draft is very good. So I don't see any way that he's the best player in this draft, even if Flagg just blows out his knee and disappears.
I'm not as high on Flagg as you guys are.
But even if he did, let's say he did, I still think Harper's way better.
Yeah.
I still think there's probably 2 or 3 guys. But he'll be in the mix. He's going to be probably an all-star.
He certainly has that ceiling.
What do you guys feel about? We had a big, video take off for us, I guess, about guys kind of complaining before they go in. They're getting drafted and then they show the camera. Sometimes it's a miscommunication. Like the guy I brought up.
Yeah.
He wasn't even mad. He got drafted by Toronto. Clearly, Bailey
Colin
was.
Murray Boyles.
Yeah. Yep.
Clearly, Bailey
Ace
was
Bailey
upset.
was not happy.
How do
He
you
wants
guys
to go
feel
to
about
Brooklyn.
that? Do you think it's?
It's nothing new. Steve Francis did it.
It really isn't
You think
anything
it's a big
new.
deal?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. These are, I'd say, kids in some certain circumstances to where, they might have had an idea of where they or a wish of where they wanted to go. In Ace Bailey's case, it sounds like that was Washington.
Yeah.
But once the
He thought
play action
Washington was
starts,
amazing.
That's where he
It's
wanted
a
to
really
go.
it's a good spot for him though.
I get, but I don't know.
But this happens in the NFL. Quarterbacks get to decide.
Oh yeah.
But we haven't seen it on live TV like this, where these guys are clearly upset.
Like we
of
knew
where they're getting
Eli
drafted.
Manning wasn't going to the Chargers 3 months ago before
True.
he was drafted. We didn't know Bailey was this disrupt. We did find out about it, but it came out.
It was kind of being whispered leading up to the draft.
But it got crazy at the end.
Well, he wouldn't work out.
He
For
wouldn't work
anybody.
out.
No, he wouldn't talk to him. But no, I'm not defending.
No
him.
interviews, no workouts,
I'm
no
against.
nothing.
What I'm saying is, you think these guys need better management?
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
I mean, when Ace Bailey's coming out and saying, I didn't know Utah wanted me. Well, that's the point of going for an interview.
Yeah.
So, that's the whole point is that you talk to teams. So
Sometimes I've gone on interviews where I'm like, I'm not taking this job, and then I'm working there. It's like anything can happen in a job interview. It's like it's a feeling out process. That's why you go and talk to people. That's why I was trying to bring up Ainge. He's been around major guys and he coached in the league, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Robert
Played-
Horry famously threw a towel in his face.
Yeah, that was great. And then Ori got traded.
Yep. The next day.
Yeah, that's kind of power he's got. He
Yep.
is just a scrub coach, assistant coach, or was he the head? I think
He was the head coach of the Suns at that time.
Well, so that's why he's gone.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, what do you? Getting off, I agree with you guys overall. I thought the draft was very anticlimactic. I didn't see anything.
you kind of knew the storylines
Yeah.
coming in. Ace Bailey's fall was, widely discussed.
Yes,
going into
it was
the
Coop
draft.
1,
If
Harper 2.
there was a guy that was going to fall, it was going to be Bailey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Coop 1, Harper 2, and then
Yeah.
Bailey dropping. Really, the biggest shocker was Igor going 8. 'Cause everyone thought he was going to go lower.
I wasn't even
Not
shocked
that
at
much lower. I thought he was going to go later lotto, and then the other biggest thing was Joe Dumars sharing an unprotected 2026 pick when the Pelicans are god awful.
That
And-
was definitely the
And then
biggest shock.
I would say to round that out.
Let me just say this.
Yakuchunas, the Illinois guard, dropping to Miami at 21.
That was
He
my
was
pick.
projected to go top 10.
As a Pistons fan, Joe Dumars, and I can't even hate him for the pick because Milicic would have went. He was a top 5 pick.
He was going to go 2 anyway.
But if he just took Carmelo Anthony,
Yeah.
everything would be different.
But that's not even
Unequivocally.
one of the 5 worst moves he made. He gave Ben Gordon all that money when he was washed. He gave Charlie
We were already dead at
Villanova.
that point, though, Bill.
But I'm just saying, he's had
we
way
had
more.
Melo on the team. You're getting we blew it. We're already seeing the top of the Statue of Liberty in Planet of the Apes.
I'm just saying
We're
it's
like
it was Earth all along.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We blew it.
That's a clip.
But I feel like
good.
talking about Joe Dumars is a perfect segue.
And I love Joe D. He on any championship team the Pistons have won, he played on it or was the GM, and he did trade Grant Hill for Ben Wallace.
Which on paper seems like terrible, but then Ben Wallace
It worked
became
Ben Wallace is a
Ben
Hall of
Wallace.
Famer.
Yes.
But also,
and he won a
John,
championship with him.
John, also, that was 20 years ago.
20,
Maybe
exactly.
Joe Dumars has...
Oh no, I'm telling you, the
Overplayed
moves,
his hand.
He's awful.
But he got a bunch of stuff for Grant Hill, and Ben Wallace happened to be one of them. It wasn't like it was one
the
for one.
headline,
No, I agree.
headliner.
Like,
No,
he got
I'm just
lucky
saying,
hit.
I'm just
Is
saying.
it like Chucky Atkins?
yeah,
or
no,
something?
no.
Like
Ben
that?
Wallace
Yeah.
was the throw-in.
Yes.
But he
Yeah,
turned
yeah.
out to be a
It's like a-
franchise player for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like it was a good trade.
But like that's like saying the Pau Gasol trade was fair for Memphis because they got
Marc
Marc
Gasol.
Gasol back. They
Yeah.
didn't know this fact.
They didn't
was
know
gonna-
exactly.
So he didn't
That
know.
was like drafting Fernando and you get Andy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 5 years later.
And then it's like, oh shit, Andy I could play.
He's better than Fernando.
Exactly. Shout out Andy.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying that it's like talking about Joe Dumars and questionable moves. It's a perfect segue into what recently the free agent frenzy in the NBA.
FF.
And yeah, the FF. And I would give the Pelicans an F just because I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Why would you pay Looney? What does that do?
Doesn't fit at all with
Yeah, Looney's like a try-hard, like
non-shooter.
semi-big.
He's
Yeah,
an inside big that can't
he's
really
on a
finish.
championship team. Like
He's
like
great,
the Lakers
yeah.
would love him
Yeah.
for that last year. They don't. I'm saying they win the whole thing, but the Pistons could have used him. We needed a big. The Knicks at times could have used a guy like him.
But the Pelicans need is a stretch big next to Zion that
He's
wants to play
35
defense.
years old.
No, I don't think he's that old. I think
He's
he's
been
like,
around a minute.
I think he's like 33.
30, yeah, he's in his
32.
early
He's in his
30s.
But why would Queen, Zion, and Looney make sense just from a basketball
Also,
standpoint?
when they drafted Yves Missy last year, he got second team all rookie.
they have about 5 centers on their roster right now.
That are actually all decent. They're all good players. It's just they don't mesh together. Queen could technically stretch the floor, but I don't
Not
know.
really.
I don't know if his game expands to the the NBA 3-point line.
I like Queen.
I
but
compared him to like Solinger. He's kind of like a mid-range
He's more
to
athletic
inside
than
big.
Solinger. He's way more athletic than Solinger.
He could be a Brandon Bass. He could be one of those kind of guys.
He reminds me of like a Wendell Carter Jr. type.
I don't know if you'll have the defensive upside
That's not
as
good.
Wendell.
Well, I mean, coming into the league, that's kind of like Wendell Carter he was considered a safe pick.
Yeah.
That he was like, even if he doesn't become a star, he'll be serviceable.
Yeah, you're going to get a 10-year career out of
Yeah.
the guy. And
But
you
the
have-
problem with that is that he went to the Bulls, and the Bulls can't develop talent. Everybody that leaves the Bulls ends up having a better career.
Well, the problem with the Pelicans is that they just gave up what's likely to be a
top 5
extremely high pick in a loaded draft next year.
Another loaded
Anyway,
draft.
around it, Joe D had a bad.
And
He had a bad day.
He also traded for Jordan Poole. Granted, it's good that they got off the CJ
I'm a
McCollum
Jordan
contract.
Poole guy, but
I'm not against
Well,
Jordan Poole either.
They took on the
They
Poole
took on a
contract.
worse one.
They took on the worst
Poole contract's
contract.
worse than CJ's.
It's one extra year, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's one extra year. I guess you're draft or you're trading him for possible upside that Jordan Poole could then play winning basketball with Zion. But remember, a few shows ago with you, Faraz, I was mentioning how maybe the Pelicans could get Ja Morant. It really is nonsense down there in New Orleans. Jordan Poole, Zion.
It's Timon and Pumbaa. That's what
It
they
really is Timon and Pumbaa.
but who's not going to watch that though? You'll check it out.
Nobody.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think. I don't think anybody's watching that.
Wait
shit.
till they hit like a buzzer beater against Boston, and you guys will be in tune with it.
I mean,
And-
I want
and
them
that's
to.
fine.
I want Boston to lose every game. I want Boozer or I want AJ.
You don't want to lose every.
I want to lose every game. I want the number 1 or number 2 pick.
You want to go 0-82.
Let's do it. Let's get weird.
Hey, we don't want the worst record in the league 'cause we've seen the last
You
3
never-
years.
Oh, yeah,
this
you don't
new
want the-
lotto-
yeah, you want-
these-
you want to be
Yeah,
semi-competitive.
flattens it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's flat odds. So you
Time
want to
is
be
a
right
flat
outside.
circle.
You want to be like the number 4 pick, and then you'll jump.
Yeah.
But I think Boozer probably goes 2, huh? So I need at least 2.
I don't know, because I think
Well, let's-
Peterson.
we got ahead of ourselves. Let's
Yeah.
dial it back here. Boston, we can't ignore what Boston's done.
I would say Boston's a loser in free agency insofar.
We're
I
in
know
the-
that they're
We're
they're
in the
this
battle.
Purposely.
but
We're in the
you know,
third
they
leg
wanted
of
to
Operation
keep.
Barbarossa. When the Germans went across Russia, they're just burning it down.
I thought I was under.
It's not a bad thing. It is
I
what
think
it
it's
is.
like a Game of Thrones saying, burn them all. Like they're
Yeah,
just getting rid of
they're
everything.
just-
We're
They wanted
we're
to
burning
keep-
all the boats. We're not coming back.
Yeah.
They
This is
wanted
our
to
last
keep
battle.
Fournette.
So Let's
but
go
not for $41
transaction
million.
by transaction, though.
They wanted to keep Cornette and Horford. And I mean, Cornette's already
What was
gone.
the big first bone to drop?
Probably the Drew Holiday trade.
Drew Holiday trade?
And you get Anthony Simons, is nice, expiring, young kid.
Yeah.
Totally solid. And he saved a lot of money.
What can
You
you
saved.
Sounds like
$13 million.
they might be flipping him anyway.
Yeah, he's not going to play a game for the Celtics.
then? Okay, so
yeah.
what do you get in return for that?
Cap space, relief, flexibility.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They have 2 max players on the roster, so it's it's.
But at the end of the
both are
day-
injured.
At the end of the day, in October 2026,
I just
when
don't-
the season starts, they're going to have Jason Tatum, they're going to have Jaylen Brown, and they're going to have Derek White.
That's like-
Built around them in one summer before. Why can't he do it again?
Yeah.
He got Porzingis and Holiday in the same summer.
It's a different league now in terms of
I just don't like ever being
Just-
Billy, as a Michigan fan who sat through Rich Rodriguez and Brady Hoke. You were there with me.
Yep.
When
He
you
wouldn't
go,
wear a fucking headset.
when you go bad. Sometimes you don't just bounce back.
Oh, for sure.
It is you're going in the deep end. Sometimes jaws might get you. You don't come back.
But you don't want to do the opposite and be like the Bucks or the Nuggets. And
I
just-
agree. You don't want the slow death.
Yes.
You don't want to boil to death.
You want to pull the plug.
I agree.
and I wouldn't even say it's entirely pulling the plug if your 2 best players are still on your roster.
Exactly.
Correct.
Even if one doesn't
And
play that
the
year.
Celtics have shown before they've taken guys and put one behind the ear and brought a new guy in. Marcus Smart, we can't win a game without Marcus Smart, and then we win.
It's the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah, Billy, we can't trade him. It didn't even matter.
No, Holiday
So-
was better.
And it's the same thing with getting
Now-
Luke Cornette. Luke Cornette was a fringe NBA player, and we got him a $40 million contract because how well he worked on his game with Boston. Also played some of the best pick and roll basketball
In the entire league.
with Tatum, and he got a $40 million contract. So that would like we got Garza now, which I'm not big on Garza, but you like Garza.
I think he can be a Luke Cornette in development.
And
Luke Cornett wasn't the college player that Luke Garza
Yeah,
was.
Luke Garza was way better
I
in
mean,
college.
and the funny thing about Garza is he dominates. He dominated in college. He dominates in the G League. It's just that last fucking level that's so hard to get over the hump. But I do trust the Celtics' development. Like, one of these guys that they got is going to hit.
I agree.
I think that's a safe bet. I mean, if you're able to dominate in the G League, it shows that
It's-
you have the capability to hang at least in the NBA, and he has.
So after you shoot Holiday in the back of the head, you beat him like a fucking rented mule. He comes in, he was awesome in the finals, and then he doesn't play good for 2 series, so he sucks now. So we sent him off to Portland.
If he wasn't getting
Well,
paid
he's
$35
35.
million,
Okay.
If he
But if
wasn't getting
Tatum didn't get
I'm
hurt,
just
we keep
building
him.
the drama. So
if he wasn't getting paid $35 million, we would have kept
Just
him.
fucking
Honestly,
with you guys.
yeah, I know.
So then you get rid of Porzingis.
Yeah, he has AIDS.
What is his
He
official?
seems healthy now. He's able to breathe.
Yeah, he's smoking hookah. It's great. It looks great.
Luka Doncic.
Really,
love
really
Porz-
professional. You
I love
can't
Porzingis.
you can't freaking breathe for 2 months, and then the first fucking off-season picture is him smoking hookah.
Where did you guys? Siberia?
I mean, he posted on his Instagram. I'm sure he's in.
No,
like-
where'd you guys send him to?
Oh, Atlanta. Atlanta's going to be good.
Atlanta's going to
Atlanta's
be
gonna be
pretty good.
Atlanta is
Atlanta?
one of the winners
Winners,
of
for sure.
free agency. I love
100%.
Atlanta's team.
And they
Okay.
got him in a contract year. He's gonna be
So
borderline all-star.
What's the
this year.
He's gonna
projected?
be healthy again.
Let's just
Yeah.
get down to the nuts and
It's
bolts of
contract
it.
year.
Because I'm a Detroit guy, so all we know is nuts and bolts. What's the starting 5? Give me the starting
For
5.
Atlanta?
No, for the Boston Celtics.
I don't give a fuck.
No,
Uh,
yeah. What's the team? Because you guys are going to watch the game.
Oh, I'm still gonna watch every game.
You're
It's-
going to watch every 82 loss.
If Simons is still there, he will start in the backcourt with Derek White. Brown will be the 3. Georges Niang would be the 4. And then the 5 would be an argument between Keita and Luke Garza.
Oh,
Until
God.
I don't
You're
think
gonna
I don't think
You're
Tillman
not
will start.
starting Luke Garza.
I think he could beat out Keita, but
Billy, there's going
Keita.
to be a race war. They're going to kill people.
Have you watched Keita play?
He was great at Utah State.
He was, but
He's
he's
a good college
he
player.
has a
Great.
very low basketball IQ.
Danny Wolf was awesome against Purdue. Like, he really got him.
But yeah,
down
but
stretch.
if you're trying to be bad, that's how you try to be bad. But I don't think Simons will be there. I think Pritchard will end up being the starter.
And Brown's not going to play back-to-backs. He might even miss the first handful of months of the season. It's probably going to be like Pritchard, White, Simons, like
Hauser.
small backcourt. Hey,
I don't think they'll play
Hauser
three
is
guards.
going to start?
I think Hauser will start. And they actually rather
They might
keep
win every
him.
game.
The NBA
might be better.
The other team's better. Hey guys, Hauser might be playing. He's got a Hauser in his pants.
We can get his brother too. His brother's not signed, is he? Joey?
Where does his brother play? I don't know the player.
Oh yeah, there's another. There's another.
yeah,
We call
two of them.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it's in the G League.
So that's the team. Is that a humble? How does that feel?
A big fall from grace.
It's when Tatum went down. This is something that Brad Stevens had the balls to do that a lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people would just try to stay above water, make a decent team, maybe keep one of Porzingis or Holiday. I'd rather blow it up and go.
It also shows how safe Stevens is in Boston. His
Missoula,
job
too.
is secure.
Missoula
Same with
too.
Missoula, yeah.
I'm not. But so why? I didn't ask. I didn't say fire Brad Stevens.
Oh, I didn't say that either.
Why you brought it up?
But in a lot of
I'm just
other
saying,
cities,
a
you wouldn't
lot of
have that
GMs
freedom.
A lot of GMs wouldn't do
Boston, you only get so much time though, too.
Well, they just won a championship, so I feel like
Faraz, I do
that.
feel
It's
like
almost like Pelinka. Pelinka is saved for a handful of years because they got Luka. He could make 4 more bad trades, but because they got Luka, he's going to be
Faraz. I
safe.
feel like there's a lot of. I feel the undertones coming out of your body. There's something you want to say. How do you feel about all this?
How about this? No, I feel like the Celtics are actually probably doing the prudent thing. It's just
It's not fun.
it's not fun, but
middle ground
it's better.
in the NBA sucks.
Trying to be, yeah, exactly. That's really
You're right.
that's the worst
Right.
place to be
I
is
agree.
right in the middle.
Like
the
what
Bulls.
Miami's doing.
Who's been in? No, but they're barely even making the play-in now.
But also the Bulls, and the Hawks. Besides
the
this
Bulls
year,
only make the play-in.
yeah.
That's like they literally make a shot
Hey, that's an extra
to
check
make
for
the play-in.
I mean, I think
Is
speaking of
Ryan
the
Shorf
Hawks,
the worst owner? When we talk about owners, he's got to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
He's 100%.
He had
I'd
Michael
say-
Jordan.
I'd say he's up there. Yeah.
He had Michael Jordan. Like, who would have said, let's just bring him back for a couple? Like, who would have said that's a bad move? Why don't you just pay Michael Jordan?
It's an ego thing.
Yeah, it's pure ego.
He thought he
Same
built
like
the
Jerry Jones with the Cowboys.
He thought
and Jimmy Johnson.
he made the championships, not Jordan
Well,
or Scotty.
he literally said it.
Yeah, he did
Wow.
say it.
He could have made so much more money though.
But they think that it's so easy because it came to them so easy that, hey, we could just get a new set
You
of
don't
guys.
get Michael Jordan ever.
I know
again.
they don't get that though. But hey, we're gonna draft Elton Brand. We're gonna do this. It'll be fine.
Well,
And it hasn't been fine for 25 years.
Going back to the Celtics in the larger picture of the Eastern Conference, I feel like as constructed, they still probably are a playoff team.
It's
I actually don't
getting
think so.
tough because I can name 5 for sure that are above them, and then 3 maybes.
Well, there's one other team that I feel like is interesting because, briefly touching upon the NBA Finals, the Pacers were 1 game away from being a champion, and now here they are. They're not going to have
We have a better
Halliburton.
chance of beating them next year.
They're
Non-existent.
They lost Turner and
Halliburton's
Halliburton.
out for the year.
Yeah,
so
so-
1 of their 5 are gone.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. For
Just
years,
chop their legs
Miles
off.
Turner has been on the trade block, and the one
Yeah.
time, as every NBA fan could probably say this, we thought Miles Turner was finally safe, and then they, he signed somewhere.
Where
else.
has
Well, they lowballed him though.
They
Because
lowballed him.
because
Because-
Halliburton got hurt, they're
And-
they're not going to pay the
And
tax next year.
no one could pay, at least at the time, no one could pay Turner what he was asking. He wanted the same contract as Nas Reed, if you guys read. So he wanted the 125. I think
For 100.
for 100. That's what the Pacers offered him. And out of nowhere, the Bucks were able to do this crazy, waiving to save just enough money, literally just enough, waiving Dame to get Miles Turner.
Speaking of the Buckaroos, what do you think of them just saying, Dame, we're going to pay you $22 million for 5 years in a row?
It's a gamble, man.
It's
It's
a
a
huge
huge gamble. Like, it's... I kind
What's
of
the
respect
payoff?
it.
What's the payoff from that?
You got Miles Turner.
They got
Miles
Miles Turner
Turner,
for
okay.
4 years.
and-
Essentially, you're paying Miles Turner $50 million then.
I
Yeah.
actually, but next to Giannis, they're coming out with it.
Well, that's the whole thing is that you're trying to show Giannis that hey, we're going to
We
be
want you to-
making
we're
we're making
investing in you.
moves to try to keep us in this competitive window.
He's a better Brook Lopez.
He's a lot better than Brook Lopez. Brook
Is
Lopez is
just
bad.
dead?
Well, no, he signed with the Clippers as a backup big.
It's actually a good
That's
signing.
a pretty
for the
good
Clippers.
signing.
It's
Sounds
a great
bad.
signing as the
Do they
Clippers.
still have
Good
Batum?
signing. He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Batum's back.
That's such a random player to bring
Yeah,
up.
I
Yeah,
thought you were going to say Zubac. And
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys don't know about Batum.
I mean, at this
is
age,
one thing I've just been noticing. Is France the new... Are they the new basketball...
They're a powerhouse.
Oh yeah,
Of the world.
They've definitely been.
Yabusele, Batum, Wemby.
I feel like they're beating us.
They'll probably beat us in 28.
the way that they're training their players, they are literally Swiss Army knife out there. They could dribble, they could shoot, they could play defense, and they're big. All of them are like 6'9" to 7'3", it seems like.
Is like Tony Parker like the Pablo Escobar of France? He just opened
He's
it
running
up to
shit.
the world.
He,
Like,
I mean, like he
He's running shit out there.
Probably learned a lot in San Antonio.
Yeah, because I don't see Australia being good anymore. I don't think Canada will ever be good enough. The only threat is France.
Air France.
Serbia.
Eh.
As long as they have Jokic. I mean,
In
they
2028 though?
Also is deep. Germany always has some players in there to
That's going to be
keep shit
Sabonis
around.
Jokic
Yeah,
out there.
that'd be actually pretty
Germany.
cool.
It'll be good.
It'll be competitive.
It always seems like they are competitive.
And all it takes is you get one kind of transcendent player or one player that
Franz
be a
could make the
star.
leap in the next 2 years and be a top 10 player.
Yeah, I like Franz.
Oh yeah, he definitely.
He's just one consistent jump shot away from being like top 15 player in the NBA.
And speaking of the Magic, they're probably one of the handful of
Favorites,
teams I'd
yeah.
say that have really come out of this draft free agency period, smelling like roses. Them and Atlanta, I would have poised to make the leap into the top 4 of the East at least.
I agree.
I'd say you'd still have to put Cleveland and New York up there just because they're returning essentially with the same teams.
Actually, Knicks got a lot better too.
I like the Knicks bench.
You guys addressed the big problems on the bench.
For
Now,
us,
you could go.
we have to speak the words Mike Brown.
I mean,
You called it. He called
He
it.
called it. He did. But, I mean, now that you have him,
it's it kind of goes like
It is
of
what
the
it is.
coaches that were available. No, I didn't think any of them were really going to be.
is this like the
surefire
delusional phase
upgrade.
of the New York fans? Or like this
No.
is...
I'm not being delusional about it at all. What I'm saying is that I don't think any of the coaches, including Mike Brown, are a surefire bet to make the Knicks take them over the top like they want. So it's just really
So why not just hang on to Tibbs?
I don't know.
Did Tibbs have an interview with Dolan? And he said, "I want to kill you," and he's like, "I have to fire you." What
I think
happened?
there was some shit going on behind closed doors. I think Kidd and the Knicks were talking again because obviously Kidd used to be a coach there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they started talking and thought that they could take Kidd away, or maybe he originally thought he could leave. So it does seem like Kidd was too happy about the Luka trade. So
I don't think Mike Brown's going to tank the Knicks. I just don't think he's going to really do
No, but
anything.
in these critical moments,
he's like a floor raiser for like young up and coming teams, but he's not a ceiling raiser at all.
Yeah,
You can't say
would
he's
say
a
that.
better coach than Tibbs based on their resumes.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
He is a 2-time Coach of the Year winner, though.
I think that award is the most useless award in sports.
Yeah, it's usually like you want to follow the guy after he won it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's going to get fired.
Yeah,
We have seen
Exactly.
the last handful of years we saw with your Pistons when they fired Dwayne Casey the year after
Yep.
he won Coach of the Year.
But he was fired by Toronto after winning Coach of the Year. We didn't fire him after Coach of the Year, or did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
won.
Toronto
did.
fired him after winning Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know if the Pistons did.
Toronto, because it was the
He didn't do
LeBron,
that
another
well.
LeBronto series where
Yeah.
they couldn't beat LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Brown, though, his first Coach of the Year, I'd probably say
It's a little bit of an
throw it out. That's
asterisk.
a LeBron. That's LeBron carried him to that.
Mike Brown was young, too.
I have to give him credit. Like if you make the Kings relevant in any capacity, given where they've been,
That Kings team was fun.
yeah, they broke the playoff streak, the streak of not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, I don't think he's a terrible coach. I just don't think he's not somebody certainly to get excited about. Definitely not.
So you're not excited for us?
I'm excited about.
Are you guys
excited
worried
about
Celtics fans about Mike Brown?
I'm excited about the moves that they. I like Clarkson as a pickup just because it means probably not same
Do
campaign.
you think he'll get another tattoo or no?
I don't think he has any more space.
Yeah, he's locked up.
Unless it's just literally around his face.
Getting
Getting
Gershon
out with
was
Sabali.
yeah that was
Yabusele.
that came out of left field, and I think that's a really big pickup because he can shoot.
Yeah.
He's
just
so
an
much
effective-
better than Precious. He's so much better than any
Yeah.
of your backups.
Yeah.
I actually read that he shot Maxey a text saying, "We're going to beat y'all motherfuckers 4 times."
It's probably
So-
right.
So it's fun.
So,
The Sixers would have
actually-
loved to keep him, but they didn't have his bird rights. That's the same thing that's going to happen next year with the Lakers and Ayton. They're just not going to be able to keep him.
The Sixers are an interesting team to look at too if we're staying in the East, but I kind of give them an incomplete grade because they still seem like they have some
Yeah.
business they have to take care
It's
of.
kind of like Morey's asleep behind the wheel. He hasn't made any acquisitions at all. I read some rumors that they might trade Paul George to the Jazz because they could absorb his contract.
Well, I think the big thing is they still have to figure out what they're doing with Quentin Grimes. So that's like their big.
And he
bit
wants
of
a lot of
business.
money, which
He wants like $25 million. It's
I mean,
crazy.
he played like he wanted it.
And
after that
actually,
trade.
yeah, the Knicks had him. You guys had him, and he was on your Pistons too. before he went to the Mavericks, and they dumped him for Martin, which at the
I
time it
didn't
looked
make-
like looked like okay trade, but the Mavericks didn't even play Martin.
I kind of disagree. When they made that trade,
I thought
it
that was one of the worst trades.
I thought I was like, I don't understand.
Maybe it's because I'm a
the point of
Celtics
it
fan.
at all.
I've seen Martin single-handedly win games for the Miami Heat against the Celtics.
He had that one series.
But I mean,
that was ridiculous.
Grimes, even when he was with the Knicks, I didn't like when we had to trade him, but the return was, whatever they needed to do business. But he's just he was the prototypical 3-and-D guy, and he's been that. And
But
so the way he kind of played when he
traded-
went to Philadelphia, that's that kind of came out of nowhere.
Before he got traded by you guys, I mean, the reason why the Knicks ended up trading him, from what I thought, he had a very, very bad stretch of games because it looked like Tibbs tried to give him chances. He kept missing and fucking up on defense. Same with your Pistons when they eventually traded him to the Mavericks for Tim Hardaway, essentially. He was just playing awful. And this jump that he's made on the Sixers, granted, the Sixers had nothing over there. So it could be like good or decent player on a bad ball club team, something like that. That's why he was playing so well. Now we'll see how he plays with Maxey being back and Joel Embiid being back.
McCain's going to be back too. Like,
McCain's gonna be back.
when he was,
What do you guys think
when
of
he was
McCain?
going off, he's the focal point of the Philly offense, and he was still doing well.
What do you guys think of McCain's nail polish antics?
his TikToks are very fun.
You like them both?
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
I'd take him.
I've never been on TikTok, so
Um,
I'm a
Faraz is
boomer.
above the internet.
yeah, no, I'm a boomer. So
Boom on it. What do you think, Jesiah, of the nail?
I couldn't care less.
You don't have an opinion.
I don't have an opinion.
Okay.
I don't watch this
Now,
shit.
to get back,
He played well. He was in the running for
good.
Rookie of the Year
He's
before
great.
he
I
got
probably
hurt.
would have won it.
Honestly,
Would
Now,
you trade him for Ivy?
no.
You think Ivy's going to be better?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
The McCain.
Maybe.
I don't like McCain.
wow. You really don't like the TikToks.
No, I don't. Ivy's
I actually wouldn't trade Ivy for McCain.
Ivy's got
I think
more-
I
Ivy's
like.
I think
bigger-
Ivy could
Ivy's
still
a
be
bigger
something.
player. He's got more athleticism. He's got more upside. I don't know if Ivy's going to be any good, but I'm not trading him for McCain. That fucking nail polish shit, it ain't going to work in Detroit.
Yeah,
You're
probably
going to bring him to the locker room with Isaiah Stewart. How's that going to work?
Isaiah Stewart did yell at Miles Turner, "You play with Legos."
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, let's shift out west because we've been focusing.
Hang on, though.
on
We're on the Pistons. Really
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
Let me give you a little Pistons. We
Yeah,
drafted a
you
guy
lost guys.
named- We lost.
Schroeder.
Well,
the
Schroeder.
fucking feds, man.
Yeah. Malik Beasley.
Uncle Sam.
The NBA betting thing kind of looks almost like an afterthought at this point. I mean, if he's ever lucky, he might be able to play basketball again.
I would.
Pelican
highly
Bay.
doubt it.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting though because
He's going to shoot the ball and Ray Allen's going to
Yeah,
get it.
exactly.
Well, he loves that scene. And he got,
great.
he got game.
I love fantasy and whimsy in my basketball movie.
Quick tidbit about the he got game bit. When Denzel played against Ray Allen, Denzel played on the JV Fordham team. So he wasn't like,
no, he wasn't.
he knew how to play basketball.
It wasn't like Wesley Snipes. If you
Yes.
watch White Men Can't Jump, it's
Ray
like
Allen
this guy's
did-
never touched a basketball.
In the script, Spike said, "Ray, you win 11-0." So when they got the ball, Ray just thought he was going to win,
And Denzel actually scored.
and then Denzel actually started playing and started making left-handed shots. He made like 2 left-hand shots. They made a 3. He was actually up in the game, and then he was like looking at Spike Lee over the camera, like
What the fuck?
What's going on? And then he just took the game over. And then actually, how he won is that game was actually authentic to a point.
Oh, didn't know.
But Malik Beasley has basically ruined his career. He owes his barber $30,000. He owes his dentist money, which I understand with that. If you're in the NBA, you got to have health insurance, right? But it's a union, basically, right?
Yeah, but it's probably cosmetic.
Yeah, has to be cost.
Okay, but if it's not, he's
$60,000.
or does he have his whole family on it, and he's paying for everybody?
I mean,
That could be true too.
teeth cleaning and cavity.
Yeah, but it's probably not.
$60,000.
It's probably implants. It's probably
He
those.
doesn't have like crazy teeth though. He doesn't have Paul Wall mouth.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I don't mean that. I just mean like implants. Like if he had crooked teeth, or if they had to like do like whatever. Like if they
Really,
were
he owes his barber $30,000.
How many
What do you pay for your
haircuts?
haircut?
$24.
And that's a cash. Do you ever pay by card?
No.
You always pay cash.
Yeah.
You always pay a barber by cash. How do you? They're taking wage garnishments out of the man's paychecks.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
He's
How
like
many
he's
haircuts
lost.
you have to get?
He's officially lost things when you're getting wage garnishments. They said we're taking it out of your paycheck.
Yeah, when he's negotiating with the dentist,
He doesn't pay his rent.
Next NBA contract is collateral.
He doesn't pay his rent.
I know.
What is he? Is he like? Are we watching Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems? And he's literally are we
He's
watching
betting
that
it
guy?
all.
He's
Yeah.
betting on the
Might
tip.
What do you guys think of that? I mean, what do you guys think of in terms of the honesty of the NBA? Are there more guys like him? This doesn't look good for the NBA.
Well,
it is. Would you guys agree it looks bad?
Yeah.
I think, it's kind of a systemic problem. Even today, there's that player for the Cleveland Guardians who got suspended because they're investigating potential links to gambling on games.
Mm-hmm.
In the NHL, they had a guy who was just suspended for,
We've seen this happen in
FanDuel,
college
so,
football.
yeah,
Iowa
it's
football
becoming
team had
a
lot of
little.
guys.
It's becoming certainly a lot more prevalent, especially which is. It is a problem for the NBA because at the
But
same
Ross,
time
this guy
they're also
this guy
in
made
bed
$50
with a
million
lot of
last year.
these gambling companies.
They advertise him.
Yeah, they advertise.
But Beasley made $50 million
It's
last
almost
year.
it's the conflict of interest at that point.
Where did his
It's
$50
very
million
odd.
go?
He gambled it.
Was he like?
They'd play cards.
I mean,
they'd
we've
Does he
seen it
always lose?
before,
Yeah,
where
he
we've
really
seen
gets
NBA
$50
players.
Antoine Walker.
Antoine Walker, Eddie Curry. There have been numerous horror stories of professional athletes just completely blowing
Losing it
through
all.
their career earnings.
And let's not act like it's an NBA issue. The best player
isn't.
in baseball fucking bets.
Do you think Ohtani ever made a bet?
I think he bets every day.
I think he does,
Fucking
too.
Pete Rose fucking bet
I
every
know,
day.
I know. There's nothing else going on in baseball. You got to
Yeah.
bet on it to make it fun, even if you're playing in it.
Jordan's
In the
famous
NFL.
for it.
We've
Yeah,
seen
I mean, Michael Jordan's the elephant in the
Yeah.
room. We all think he probably gambled and got caught.
100%. Do you? I mean, if Jordan was coming now, would they cover it up like they did in the '90s, or would they let it go?
I
they
think
would
they'd
cover it up.
They
Somebody,
still cover it up, but it would probably
he's
get
way
out now,
too.
though.
He's way
It might
too
get
important.
it might get out
We
now
have agents
because
in there now. You know.
Well, the thing is, as part of these pro sports leagues partnering with these gambling companies, they also have a lot of, regulatory and watchdogs that are overseeing a lot of the action that goes on in these sports books. So they get tipped off on when there's a big movement in a line, or on a prop bet or something.
Yeah.
So like they're keen to these kind of.
I would say it's harder to get away with it now than it was
absolutely
100%.
100%.
because they're tracking.
I
it.
agree.
They track everything.
There's no Henry Hill in the stands at Boston University pointing at the guy in the game.
Everything, all the data is being observed and monitored. So you can't really fool these guys, and this is their job, is to look out for irregularities.
Now, we've been, I don't want to say as a show we've been LeBron defenders.
We definitely have not
No.
been.
You guys are, but me and Faraz are more lenient with LeBron.
John, I would say you're more middle. And Faraz, obviously, you like LeBron, so
I
you
can't-
lean towards LeBron.
I just think he's Wilt Chamberlain. We're watching our version of Wilt Chamberlain. However you want to take it. That's how I look at it. Good and bad. But getting into the LeBron topic, he was on a show talking about ring culture not mattering or mattering.
Being overrated, and we talked about it on one of the
We talked about it
on
on
the
the show,
shows,
well.
yeah.
With us three, but Billy wasn't involved in that conversation.
And then opting into his contract on first glance didn't really strike me as surprising, because there's one aspect of it is he's 40. I don't know how renegotiating and signing a new deal. This might be
a 5-year contract.
this might be his last year anyway.
He's year at a time.
Yeah, it is a year at a time, and there's been a lot of hints that this might be his last year. So the opt-in in itself wasn't really eyebrow raising to me. It's all the noise that's come out since.
Yeah.
But now there's rumors he wants to be traded. He don't like playing with Luka.
I haven't heard that one.
I haven't
I
heard
saw
that
that.
one.
He don't like playing with Luka.
But I
him
feel
and
like-
Reeves don't like playing with Luka. That's what I heard.
I feel like once anything kind of comes out like that, then that's where you're trying to try to make connections that may or may not be there.
It's 4th of July, just saying.
Oh, okay.
He
I
thought
shoot fireworks
he
off.
thought it was gunshots.
I
Like
didn't
you
think
live
it
in
was-
a bad neighborhood.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody's really upset that we're talking about LeBron right now.
Yeah, that's LeBron outside.
What do you guys think? Because you guys are, like LeBron. Please give us your thoughts and opinions.
Well, what's he supposed to do? You don't take a pay cut. You don't take.
Yeah, no one's gonna say I want less money.
Yeah, I want less
And
money
he
to
did.
make the team better.
I mean, he did take the pay. He has taken pay cuts before.
He did in Miami the
Yeah.
first time around.
And in LA.
The first time?
No,
But
I
the-
think it was like the third year.
Yeah.
It was like in 2021, something like that. He tried taking a pay cut, or he did take a pay cut.
Give us your opinion on it, because do you think he cares about rings? Doesn't care about rings? You think
If he had 5 rings, would he say he doesn't care about ring culture? If he had 6, would he say he doesn't care?
he would say he cares for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
His career kind of was ring chasing to a certain extent. Granted, he's still one of the best of all time, if not the best. But with him opting in and then subtly saying like he's gonna weigh his options with the Lakers to see if they're in title contention. So obviously they're not in this moment, which means he could request a trade. And I can see him going back to Cleveland.
What are some viable trade destinations?
There isn't because of his contract. With this new CBA, he would have to get bought out.
$50 million against the cap.
Actually, there is one.
Where?
New York.
Oh yeah, you guys
But
do.
like,
love-
I don't
All
see
right,
the
Faraz,
Knicks doing
because
it.
this is a fascinating thing. If LeBron had picked New York instead of Miami, how does the aura of his career, the view, everything about his career, how do we feel about his career if he picks the New York Knicks instead of going to Miami?
If he wins a title with the Knicks, then that's.
Is that a lock that he wins a title? Because that would
No, certainly not. Just
it's a
because
cursed franchise.
It
He probably
is.
blows out
exactly.
his knee.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's literally, it wouldn't even have as much to do with LeBron
He
as
is
it
still
is
out
just the
east,
fact.
though. He is still out east, and he went to 8, 9, 10 finals runs.
That's what I'm saying. I think he gets one.
I think he gets
Yeah,
I
one.
think he gets one for sure.
It's possible. I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Who could he have gone there with?
Amari
Amari
was still
was-
already,
yeah, it was-
Amari
it
was
was
already
Amari.
there. And they
Amari's knees were jello by then.
They were bad.
no, but he,
Well, his
no,
first
no,
Suns knew.
when he first signed,
They
there,
100%
They
knew.
knew.
That's why they didn't sign him.
They were on the inside.
when they first
the
when
first year or
They
two,
knew.
first
Amari-
year or two, Amari is a
It's
legitimate
true.
MVP candidate. At
No, I know,
the
but
first year.
that was
They knew it
damaged
wasn't
goods when they
sustainable.
sent him to
it
New
was.
York.
And also,
It was not the same Amari on the Suns.
and also the Knicks had a young core that they ended up trading for Carmelo. You know, they
Had
had
James
Gallinari,
we all
they had
agree,
Wilson
we
Chandler.
probably view more fondly of LeBron.
It would, I think, because it has
There's
less.
a visceral hatred for him. Do we agree?
Because
Oh,
the
absolutely.
decision,
and no, it's not without blame. I think he deserves some of the hatred.
because he said not 5, not 6, whatever.
seven. Not 8.
He's
Come
had
on.
bad moments. I can't totally defend.
So like
But
he
at the
cared
same
about ring
time,
culture then.
I can't say he hasn't lived up to what we all thought he would be.
If he left and still went to the Knicks, I think we'd still say he ring chased because he went to team up with Amari, right?
If he
So
went
it probably would have still been the same, like similar argument. Now,
Imagine going to the New York Knicks to chase a
Yeah.
championship.
yeah, I know, but Miami. Well, actually,
I mean, it
they
still was
won.
considered an upgrade over Cleveland.
Yeah,
Yes, because I mean, but again, that has more to do with the incompetence of the organization than anything else.
Yeah.
But I mean, so in terms of choosing the right place, he obviously chose correctly by going to Miami. You know,
Shouldn't he have just stayed there though?
in
that's
Miami?
why. That's why. I
If
lost
he
it.
doesn't ever leave Miami,
they has more titles.
they probably.
Yes.
But I mean, I look at it. He went to Cleveland and he won in Cleveland
Yeah.
in the most impressive fashion ever.
But that was kind of cherry picking because he waited till they were stacked.
They had Kyrie.
They had the future #1 pick coming in, and they already had Kyrie. Like,
Is there any chance he could go?
Well, they were
Cleveland now?
terrible when even with Kyrie.
right?
No,
but,
but-
I'm just saying
but
they,
they had enough assets to trade
Exactly.
for Kevin Love.
Anthony Bennett
because
and
he
Andrew.
yeah.
because he
Yeah.
left
And
out
Wiggins,
Wiggins in the letter.
Yeah.
So he already knew Wiggins was getting traded
I'm
for
telling you,
Love.
he's Will Chamberlain. It just never
Anthony
works out.
Bennett and Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love. But I mean, Cleveland got the young talent because they were horrendous.
Yeah,
That's why they got the #1 pick consecutive year after consecutive year after consecutive year.
yeah, they got it 3 out of the 4 years that LeBron was gone.
That,
Yeah.
that was him.
Oh,
He
speaking
was a
of
good luck
deaths,
charm.
Michael Madsen, Vic Vega, aka Mr. Blonde, passed
Yeah.
away, 67 years old. Not, he's not the, marquee actor of all time, but certainly
Character actor.
amazing.
Yeah.
You can
If you're a
remember
fan
him.
of Tarantino, you know who
He was
he
even
is.
in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep.
He made a cameo.
Yep.
He handed Leo or one of them something. He passed away. So.
Yeah.
Great in Kill Bill. Great in obviously Reservoir Dogs. The dance scene. Stuck in the Middle with You. Like you can't hear that song without picturing him dancing and cutting off a
He's a
man's ear.
psychopath.
It's phenomenal.
It's an all-time scene. Sucks, but
Yeah, that's a legit RIP for Michael
A
Madsen.
legit.
Yeah.
As opposed to
The couch kid, yeah, whatever, dude.
anyway,
Jesus Christ.
Faraz, back to your Knicks. You said it is possible LeBron could get traded to the Knicks. So what would that package essentially
Now?
be?
I don't think it's I mean,
It is possible.
On paper,
on
Bridges
paper.
and
Yeah, they're able to
or
make the contracts.
Ananobi.
Would you trade him for Bridges?
It'd be
It
Bridges.
would have to be Bridges and more.
Would you,
'cause-
in your heart, though, would you rather have LeBron or Bridges? Because
you want LeBron.
There's like a biblical thing with LeBron.
You want a LeBron Knicks jersey.
He's like,
yeah, I would say I'd still.
If LeBron won a championship for the Knicks, you could die and you're okay.
Yeah. Like I mean, you'd have to look at it just in the lens of just this year. Of course, you take LeBron
because LeBron could have made a play that won the game.
When
the series, you could have been in the final.
LeBron is still he can still be. The
I will
best
say
player
this:
on the
that
floor.
Thunder team, if LeBron was on the court,
They were so beatable.
they were ready to be had. There's a
had
lot of players. Like if you were at that level, if you got there, they were like, "Please take it from me."
He's still capable of being the best player on the floor.
Yeah. Lou Dort being an asshole, he went on ESPN in like a referee outfit. He said the only series we were actually kind of afraid in was the Nuggets. So they're claiming they weren't afraid of the Pacers at all, even though they took him to 7. I thought that was kind of bullshit. He went on ESPN recently and
That's
said
pretty
that.
Well, it's just like
And also in a referee outfit. Y'all saw that.
After
he literally wore a black and white like referee outfit. It was just sick. I was like, fuck you.
I don't mind it just because teams like to play the villain, turn the heel, especially after they win. Warriors did it every fucking year. LeBron did it after they beat the Warriors, wearing the Ultimate Warrior T-shirt.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
But clearly, he was on steroids, and I didn't know that about him.
They're all lunatics.
Yeah.
Except Batista, good guy.
I think that's like the newer age. But
Probably.
like, yeah, those older WWE guys, not exactly normal. Well, going back to the Western Conference.
Yeah, you wanted to go over there for us.
Yeah,
so
because we talked about the East.
We didn't talk, obviously, Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
Huge.
The Rockets were the team that it comes front of mind just because it's hard to argue that they've had, maybe outside of Atlanta, the best offseason in the NBA.
I would put the Nuggets, but yeah, it just depends if Valanciunas stays.
For the idiots out there, what do the Nuggets do? What moves do they make?
They traded Michael Porter Jr., who was absolutely useless, for Cam Johnson. But that also gave them the flexibility to get Bruce Brown back.
Wow.
And they got Tim Hardaway Jr.
Nobody talks about Bruce Brown. He was big in that championship year.
He's so much better than Christian
He had
Braun.
big shots for them.
It's just odd how bad he was the last 2 years since that championship run.
He fit with Jokic, though.
He fit great.
Well, and
he couldn't.
It's no cost essentially.
No
like
cost.
at this time,
That's a good
like
move
it's a
for
no
them.
risk sort of move.
And
But
the
yeah,
pick-
you'd have to like what the Nuggets
And the
did.
pick that they tied to MPJ to get Cam Johnson is a 2032 first-round pick. I believe it's unprotected, but so far in the future where it is what it is.
Yeah, this is your competitive window is right now.
And they were able to get off the MPJ contract, which is probably the biggest deal. Stat-wise, though, they actually average the exact same in almost every category. Now, I think Cam Johnson's a better, well, obviously way better playmaker. He can
Way
make
better
moves
shooter.
off the ball. Shooting, I would say he's more consistent, yes.
He'll be better with
In a big
with
game.
Jokic.
Yeah, he'll be better when he's not, in Brooklyn having to do a lot more, carry a lot more of the load. But in Denver, that won't necessarily.
And then
be the
if
case.
Valanciunas stays on the Nuggets, like you said, that would be
Does
huge.
he speak Greek?
No, I don't
No.
think he does.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Lithuanian, so I don't believe so.
And then for the other team, what we're
If
saying,
he
the-
was Greek, or even by a percentage, I'd be able to claim him.
Would they accept him?
And
though,
I
or no?
have not seen anything to
Right.
back that up.
Does he get to say Opa?
He could go to the Greek church with me and Jimmy.
onto the Rockets, though. The Rockets obviously got KD for my opinion, was a steal. Jalen Green,
Good trade.
I'm selling all stock in Jalen Green. I don't think he is much in the NBA now. He could amount to something, but they gave him up and the number 10 pick, was it, right?
What do you think of Jalen Green?
which was actually Phoenix's own pick.
Anyway.
Anyway, they were
They
just
fed him with their own food.
Yeah, they were reacquiring their
It's
own.
ki-
Speaking of a really bad run
The
franchise,
Suns are just
they're
they really are
unbelievable.
just scorched earth.
That's
right
what
now.
Michigan State education does,
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you say? By the way, Michigan beat Ohio. 2,041 days since Ohio State beat Michigan in football. That's a long time.
And every day and counting, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think they're going to beat them this year.
It's not
It's
looking
in Ann
good for-
Arbor. You know,
Clip that.
Michigan's D line. They got three units. I don't see it, but
Yeah. You're rocking the jersey.
yeah. Jim Harbaugh, number 4.
It's a good jersey.
But yeah, the Rockets also got Dorian Finney-Smith from the Lakers. Rob Pelinka was doing some dirty shit, calling other GMs saying his knee is shot so he could lowball him in free agency. It got back to DFS, and he ended up signing with Houston.
What's up with Mark Williams and his health? He can't pass a physical. Every
Well, the
time he
Lakers
takes a physical,
claimed that. The Lakers
no,
claimed-
another team did though too. He got traded, and they
Yeah,
did
he got
physical.
traded for the Suns.
And they-
the Suns say he didn't pass?
He didn't pass physical.
So he's going back to the Hornets?
What? He didn't pass?
I
Again?
didn't read that.
That's what I read, unless it's fake news.
I mean, it
You
wouldn't
might
surprise
got
him.
John.
Got Sentinel.
I'm
Centelled.
early.
He isn't on Twitter, so it would make sense. Hey, he could get Centelled.
I mean, the Suns have like 8 centers now, so
Do they need him?
They still got Nick Richards, too.
That's
They
what I'm
just
saying.
want
They have
all
They
the-
want all the Hornets, which is, a winning strategy typically.
yeah.
And that Bradley Beal trade is...
Nobody wants him. Not one
Well-
team wanted him.
Well, he doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Because
matter.
he doesn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah,
Which
he's,
is his
he's not
right.
going to say yes to a
Would you
trade.
want him?
Yes.
You would take Beal?
On
You're
a
a Beal
mi-
guy, though.
But if you buy him out on a minimum contract, you have a guy that scores 17 a game on 49% shooting. It's pretty fucking good.
In the right situation, he
But the problem is you can't pay him $53 million a year.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And
Did
give
they
him,
overpay him?
give him one of 2 no trade clauses along
Yeah,
with
like
LeBron
he's like
James.
Michael Jordan. It's his
LeBron James is the only other
Yeah.
player with a no trade
It's
clause.
insane.
What's up with that? God, the Suns are just mean.
Well, no, so the Suns didn't give that to him. The Wizards did. But the Suns were dumb enough to
trade
trade for
for
that.
him.
And Ace Bailey wants to go to the Wizards. Same owner?
No,
yeah.
different GM, but same owner.
Yeah, Leon says.
I mean, the owner's
Ted
involved.
Leon says.
Well, the
yeah.
owner's good. I mean, the
he's
fucking
great.
Capitals are good.
He gave a no trade.
They have
clause
cups?
on Beal.
I understand, but at the time, that was not like a crazy thing. He was Supermax eligible.
And he was, it was like, this is the...
But in retrospect,
He was
it
like
wasn't
the
a bad move.
important, like
course.
he was beloved within the city and franchise. I mean,
He was the
it's still
face of the
not-
franchise. Like he
it's-
took it from John Wall.
I don't think
His
it was
contract
still
year,
enough.
he averaged like 35 points a game.
Yeah.
It was insane, but it's because the Wizards were mediocre. He was the only option. Back to the Rockets, though, they also re-signed Jabari Smith Jr. for in my opinion, a great deal.
He
It's
got a
4
good
years,
contract. He's so
$120
good.
million, and that's, I mean, I love Jabari Smith. I think he's legit, and I think he fits great with what they're doing over there. The Rockets, even though the Thunder just won, I love the Rockets team out west.
It's
I do
great.
probably like them more than the Nuggets.
It's great because like the Thunder won the championship, and everybody already has like 2 or 3 teams already ahead of them in the West. So it's like
Who are the two teams?
the Rockets and
And
the Nuggets.
Rockets
But
and
I
and
wouldn't
then
put them
Laker
ahead,
fans.
but I would say that
They're the
they're
conversation.
they're in the conversation.
Well,
for
because
being
they also got
competitive.
Clint Capella too. So like they're just gonna beat the Thunder with size. They have all these.
It's
bigs.
weird. The Thunder, I mean, you have to give them credit. They won the championship, but it wasn't like impressive to me.
I think that's more because
Because we got a dud of a game 7. I think that
I
might
think
be
it's-
the only reason why we're saying that.
of Indiana.
Yeah.
I think we need to give a little.
I don't
bit
know if they
more
win that
credit to
game.
Indiana.
if
I don't-
Halliburton
nobody
gets-
thinks they would have won that
Yeah,
game. That's the problem.
I feel that's how I feel.
But
it
if you got
happened.
an in-game bet before Halliburton got hurt,
Oh my God.
you would have bet the Pacers.
I would bet my house on
Is it possible Malik Beasley placed a bet on that game?
It is possible.
if he had any money.
He might not. His
Hey,
bookie might have given him
getting
credit.
back
he
to the
still
Pistons.
he still had the $40 million contract. Like, hey, I owe you. I'm getting that contract. Hey, let me put some money on this game.
The Pistons.
And that's why Halliburton, got hurt. Too much money was on him.
Do you guys think the Pistons got better or worse this offseason?
We'll see. It depends if
I think
Ivy's good. Because Schroeder was a lot for you guys. He was
I like
really
Schroeder.
important.
I know.
I'd say it's an incomplete. Just
The only player you guys got was Karis LeVert.
And Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson.
Oh yeah. I mean, Duncan, Tim Hardaway.
I'd rather have Duncan than Tim
I'd rather
Hardaway.
have Dunk too,
But you
but
have Duncan than Tim Hardaway?
Yeah.
See, Billy's got nightmares of Duncan Robinson. He
Oh,
beat
he's
the
great.
Celtics.
If he's in a corner-
great.
I don't know. I'd have.
Tim
So
Hardaway.
But you have to replace Malik Beasley.
That's
that's why they signed Karis LeVert essentially.
He ain't Beasley though.
No, Karis LeVert. I don't know.
He's not horrible.
You know what his nickname is? It's Baby Durant.
Yeah.
That's his nickname, and he's.
But
not
that's from when he was in like college and shit. Though. I ain't
It's
recent.
still his nickname.
He's a microwave type player. You can count on him for depth.
I mean, Beasley was that.
I don't
too
think-
at times.
I don't think
Beasley
LeVert's
wasn't
been-
always
He
consistent.
was.
I don't think LeVert's been good, decent to good since his Brooklyn days. He got traded to Cleveland. I thought he was awful in Cleveland, and then he got traded to the Hawks, and he got lost in the depth.
I mean, we won't know for a couple days. But if Monk is in that Dennis Schroeder signing and you get Monk, you're fine. You're better. If you don't
No,
get
Monk's
Monk,
a big deal.
If you get
If
Monk,
you guys
you're-
get Monk, that's huge.
Monk's
Yeah.
a guy you can take Cade off the court and let Monk kind of cook for 5 minutes in a game.
he's such instant offense.
He does.
like,
He's a
And not only
problem.
that,
in big games, too.
He's a
Yeah.
decent
You play with
like,
Cade.
like one option
Playing
off the
both.
point guard. When the Kings traded De'Aaron Fox, he was running point guard over there. Granted, the Kings still sucked, but he's able to handle the ball. He can make shots, and
He might be able to play with Ivy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That if you have Cade, Monk, and Ivy,
That's
That's
something.
a damn good 3
No,
guard rotation.
you gotta hope that gets added to the shooter sign.
Yeah.
Because wherever Monk ends up, like, fuck, I wanted him too. So, like, I
No,
think
you
Monk.
take Monk.
Yeah. Monk, he's good. And he's cheap.
Another Laker fumble. Lakers lost him. They could have re-signed him,
Oh, yeah.
and they didn't do that a few years ago.
was
Monk's the
that?
real deal.
Oh, Monk.
yeah.
I think that was because he was on a 1 year deal.
Yeah, it was like a bet on yourself type.
Yeah,
thing.
it was a
the
bet on-
Lakers
it-
could have re-signed him.
kind of. Well, I'm not sure if the cap.
The Kings didn't offer that much money. They could offer him the mid-level
They might not have had
exception.
his
Where else-
bird rights.
No, but the mid-level exception though.
Where else could Monk go? Because I know it's the Pistons and another team. What's the other
Well,
team?
we don't know with this stupid 7-8 team
Yeah,
trade
they're like
for
a
Durant.
mega. It's the first time ever 8
So
teams traded.
he might be in that.
It's the largest
So it
trade
could
of all
go to
time.
one of those.
So
8
Durant's including that, so they're opening the trade up essentially. So Suns and Rockets are for sure in it. The Kings are going to be in it.
Atlanta, New Jersey, I should say Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. It's pretty much every trade that we know that's happened. They're all just included.
There's not going to be new players added.
Is there anybody else
probably.
the Pistons can get, or is this it?
This is probably it.
That would probably be it. I mean, maybe they'd throw you like a pick instead, but it wouldn't be a good pick.
If you're talking about just free agency in general, you could get one of the vet minimum players still left on the market, but I don't really know who you guys want at this point.
Are the Lakers getting Al Horford?
No.
It's probably going to be Warriors.
I'd say it's
Yeah.
the Warriors.
Warriors seems like a lock. Honestly, if Valanciunas doesn't go to Denver, Horford should
that
consider
would be
that.
amazing.
That'd be so fucking smart, but
Denver.
I don't think he wants to live in
Horford
Denver.
and Jokic.
I think.
That's a good team.
Shams was saying
That's a fun
earlier
game.
today that he's deciding between the Warriors, Lakers, and retirement.
Yeah, and that seems right, but the Lakers did sign Jackson Hayes. I mean, sure, they could just cut him again, but with Aiden and Hayes, they do have 15 guys, so I think that probably eliminates them from the Lakers, but like I said, you could just cut Jackson Hayes.
So, Bill, for 2027,
Okay.
because the 2026 is
2026 is gone.
off the table for Boston Celtics. What do you expect? What do you want the team to look like? Year 5.
I want White, I want Brown, I want Tatum, I want Boozer, and Blank.
And blank?
Yeah, whoever we're gonna, I don't know.
Like, you don't know who that.
Yeah,
fifth
I don't know
guy's
who
gonna
that's going to be, but they're going to get somebody with that money that they didn't spend on keeping Porzingis, keeping Holiday, etc. But I do want Boozer with this group. I mean, AJ would be awesome too, but the number 1 pick, I'm not going to be greedy. I just want Boozer. I think Boozer would be really good with this team.
You think he's going to be better than his dad?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a fucking star.
What do you think of Boozer for us?
I think they're saying that this is going to be one of the deepest drafts, maybe even since like 2003.
Yeah.
Where you have 4 players at the top that are considered generational prospects.
And how would you compare Boozer versus AJ?
I haven't. I want to see how they do
In
next
college?
in college.
Smart.
That'll be I think, a little bit more time.
It does matter. I mean, you got to see how they perform. Like, Flag didn't do anything to downgrade him.
No, if he made that shot,
I really think that missed shot was a big deal for him.
I know. If he would have made that shot.
Because if he makes that shot, he's Leitner, but he could be better in the pros.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm zoned in on Lethal Weapon.
I
Yeah,
mean,
watch
we're
the-
almost at the climax. So.
Lethal
Yeah,
Weapon.
that's why it's kind
Murtaugh
of
and Riggs are reuniting. Murtaugh's slobbering on everybody. Tremendous movie if you haven't watched Lethal Weapon. The original, the first one, you got to watch it. Great. Probably the best buddy cop movie of all time. We were arguing, you guys thought 48 Hours, maybe Rush Hour. It's in the conversation.
I don't know, but maybe recency bias.
Bad
Now,
Boys is also
Lethal
up there,
Weapon's
which you
Bad
didn't
Boys.
mention that. I love Bad Boys.
Bad Boys is great.
And then we were arguing if Beverly Hills Cop qualifies as a buddy cop movie because it's not 2 guys, it's 3, but should be in the conversation.
What's the name of the podcast you guys want to do on movies? What's it called?
Movie Rats.
Movie Rats? Awesome. So, what do you guys want to talk about in your segments with Movie Rats?
Well, that's for the show, right?
It is for the show.
You have to tune and find out, but it is.
Not specific.
Here, if you want to go.
Please help yourself.
I'll go because we were
Franz,
talking
tell
about
us.
it. We're
We'll be.
talking.
Are we allowed on the show or no?
Of course.
We were talking about it off air earlier. Trying to guess the most mediocre movies based on
50 to
critic ratings.
75%.
Yeah, just the most C
Average.
mid
C,
movie because
D plus.
it's really easy to say think
Bad
about a
movies.
movie and what's a bad movie, what's a classic, but it's really hard to kind of get into the nuance of like what's a average.
It's fine.
It's an okay movie, or a movie that I would like, but I understand. The general consensus would be a little bit cooler on.
Well, online there's like a very small group of people who absolutely love Babylon, and even though it flopped at the box office, Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, there are like these hardcore fans, and they've been just crawling and crying and everything to get it above 60%, so it's fresh.
Yeah.
So I think that now that it's finally over 60%,
Oh, it's finally there?
It's considered certified fresh. Babylon would be the best film in that category.
Of all time.
Critic rating.
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't want to go off of the
I'm
audience.
not Moana too.
a much lower tier, in my opinion, but this movie tanked critic-wise, but it made a lot of money, and I enjoyed it. Venom's rated like 33%. And the first Venom's like fun
It's
nonsense.
better than 33%.
Yeah.
It's better than 33, but it's like if you just looked at the
It's got
ratings,
the guy from Warrior.
it's got Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
it's great.
He's good in it.
It's just the villain sucks, but
Yeah.
Tom Hardy and Venom.
He needed
and
better
they're back and
graphics.
forth.
He outacted the graphics.
He actually acted as the graphics too. He voices Venom, like actually voices.
You know
Venom.
what'll make this exercise even more difficult is if you exclude comedies, because I feel like comedies are
subjective.
so subjective if they land or not, and then the popcorn action movies, because those also
Probably like Independence Day is probably somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it's probably like
Probably.
67, right?
Independence Day, though.
I'm actually
Yes.
curious. Let's see.
The first half of Independence Day, if you just stopped the first half, it's one of the best movies.
It's dope.
It's a great first half. Second half is terrible.
Another movie that
punches
What do you
an alien in
guys?
the
Speaking of
face.
Will Smith, yeah, he's like, get out of my It's just
Get off my
awful.
planet or
yeah.
something.
All right,
What do you guys think of Will Smith's pop-up concert Pretty Girls performance?
Hold on.
Because that's a tremendous.
I want guesses first
It's one
on
of the
what you
worst things I've ever
think
seen in my
the score is for Independence Day.
you're looking at Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Yeah,
I'm guessing 67.
54.
75.
68.
Ah, nice.
But it was
It was
on
in
the
the
range.
range.
It was
That's
right
a
in there.
mid.
Yeah, it was
That's
right
a
in
The only
there.
reason why I know
Quintessential
that,
mid.
I watched it for the first time about half a year ago.
And you thought it was a 68 or 67 then?
I didn't know. I knew it was like people liked it. I never.
No,
saw
but I
it
mean,
from-
like when you
What was your
watched
opinion
it.
of
When
it?
you watched it, did you come out of it
What
being
was
like
your
that was a
no,
mid
I
movie?
enjoyed it. No, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say
good
it's
time.
Did you like that his wife was a stripper? Like, why do they got to make her a stripper? Like,
for no reason
Yeah.
too. Like, what's this do for
she's
the
like
plot?
trying to revive Hillary Clinton. Like,
Yeah.
don't die. Like, they just let the first lady die in the movie. Like, we can't do anything to save her. We gotta let her go. She can't make it. It was off. It was the second half of the movie is awful.
But
it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
It probably has the best president in any
He was
movie.
horrendous.
Yeah, you don't think Bill Pullman was great as the
Bill
president?
Pullman is he dead? Or is
Yeah,
that
he's
Bill
dead.
Paxton?
Paxton's definitely dead.
Yeah. I don't
Pullman,
know.
I don't know.
Jim Paxton's still alive though.
A show which I don't know if you've seen is called the
Billy Pullman's horrendous.
You don't like him in that movie? I like
He
him.
drives in.
I know.
He
still alive.
He flies
Oh,
the
he's still with us.
plane. He flies the plane against the. Can you imagine the president? Trump gets in the plane and is shooting at the aliens. I mean, come on.
Trump shooting at the aliens.
That's what happened in the movie.
I feel
the
like
president got into the. Maybe that makes perfect sense.
That's a
where we're
sign
at.
of
That's where we're
a
heading.
courageous leader
Yeah.
to me.
A movie that I enjoyed
Randy
as a
Quaid's
kid.
in it. Drives into the.
Yeah, that's true. And he's a fucking hillbilly.
Yeah, saves the
And
day. Saves
he
the
does
world.
save the day, a fucking hillbilly.
Yeah.
But the first lady dies, right?
Will Smith's like, I'm aware of their engineering mechanical maneuvers just because he watched them fly. How many planes have you watched? You know how to fly a plane? It's ridiculous.
People learn different
all you do
ways.
is
Some
just-
people are visual
Just
learners.
watching an alien
Yeah, you just
aircraft.
take
I know how to
the-
fly a
take the
plane.
handle
I'll
and
get in the
just go-
cockpit and we just go.
Yeah, you
Okay.
pull it down and it goes up.
It's Halo.
Right?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Another movie that's mediocre, but
Horrendous.
it's decent. Public Enemies with Johnny Depp.
Oh,
That's
movie
rated
sucks.
probably.
You just have a soft spot for Johnny Depp. I'm not doing this.
I thought that movie was overrated.
I thought the movie sucked.
I didn't think.
What
was
is it on
over-
Rotten?
I'm guessing probably
75.
I say
65.
47.
I say 75.
I'm guessing 65.
That movie sucks.
All right.
Drum roll, please.
And eventually we'll get Faraz on Letterboxd instead, so we'd actually have star ratings. He likes to be in the 2020s with the Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I
stuff.
just feel like it's you're opening it up to like a broader range of math.
Star ratings
data.
on Letterboxd is almost like the IMDb ratings.
Yes.
IMDb ratings. When you look it up, it's people rating the movie.
Yeah, so
But
that's
a
why-
lot of critics have
true.
Letterboxd.
but that's why I went with Rotten Tomatoes because you have the
Totally
critics.
fair.
So okay, what were the guesses for Public Enemies?
47.
I said 75.
65.
68.
Fuck. Is everything a 68, Faraz?
Dude, it's not a great movie, but that's where
It's
where
fine.
it belongs.
It's
But
fine.
actually, it was rated lower by
People.
The
Audience,
yeah.
Yeah, it was
I-
It had a lot of hype. It was a flop.
59% by the audience.
As I thought the Whitey Bulger movie was a flop too.
I thought that movie sucked too.
I actually didn't watch that one. I heard
It's
it was.
it's
Let's get a score for Black Mass then.
it's
Ooh.
it's worth watching.
That's,
That
I think
one-
that's going to be a mid.
That one's
No,
40
that's gonna be
that
in the
one's
green.
47.
75.
Yeah, I might even go 41.
I'm going 47 on that one.
75.
75, 47, 41.
73.
Wow.
Good shit.
Yeah, the movie's not that bad because they just didn't portray it correctly. He was a maniac in the movie though. He
It was
killed-
also lower by the audience.
had a lot of hype.
68%.
I still liked it though because he was a pure psychopath.
So, John, back to what you were asking us. What are we kind of planning with Movie Rats? We're actually going to be more so doing short form content with like 10 to 20 minute videos talking about movies coming out at that time and what we saw. So, like F1 will be amongst that, or Ballerina, which us three have seen that. Bring Her Back. That was a phenomenal horror movie. I doubt either of you two
You guys will
saw it.
give current ratings on current movies.
Correct. As soon as we see it, like
Okay.
within the first week or two of the
And
film's
what's your
release.
guys' process? How often do you guys see movies? Where do you see them? What platform?
I'm a big proponent of
what-
theaters.
What's Billy's?
I probably see at least 2 to 3 movies a week. Like last year, I ended
What do
up
you pay for something like that?
$20 a month.
It's-
A-list?
A-list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Shout out, Billy.
Yeah, you got to be a Stubbs member, man. A-list is AMC.
That's a good deal.
If you
That-
just see 2 movies in a month time frame, it pays for itself.
Actually, if you see one, because if you do
Yeah.
Dolby or IMAX,
Yeah,
it's $20 right
Yeah,
there.
it's not,
Yeah.
you're a movie
Did you
goer.
see F1 in IMAX? I heard
I-
it was.
I prefer Dolby. I think Dolby's the best screen in town. But
Dolby
IMAX,
at South Point?
no, Dolby is at AMC. But they also have an IMAX. But every IMAX in Vegas is actually a fake IMAX, so it's still bigger than a No, it is. It's not like
fake.
basically a real IMAX would be like 70 feet tall.
Yeah.
These are probably maybe 60, 63.
They just put like little extenders out.
Yeah,
Oh,
it-
that's
it's phony.
It's not real.
But that's what I like about Dolby. It's the only theater like this in town, and it's the sound actually matches how like
What's-
advanced the picture is.
What's the South Point Theater?
They probably have like what the fuck? It's not. They don't have an IMAX, but they do have like their own version of a Dolby.
Because I watched Oppenheimer there, and it was
Oh, it's
not
probably insane.
It was a cool. I mean, you watch the bomb go off. It was
Yeah,
like
it's
a
good
whole
experience.
wall. It was a giant wall. It wasn't bad.
No,
Mon-
not at all.
A much lower movie than that, but when we saw Ballerina, we saw that in Dolby, and that was my first Dolby experience. I heard the water. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, you hear everything, but you hear, like,
Yeah.
the...
Dolby-
It's
Dolby's
like a
a-
regular.
Is
yeah.
it better than Jaws 3D? You think?
I've never seen Jaws 3D, but I would probably say yeah.
Just a little
I would
bit.
probably say yeah.
No, but Jaws 3D was Jaws 3D the first 3D movie? What was the first 3D?
No, they
movie?
probably had that in the 50s or 60s, right? Where you have to wear the stupid glasses.
The
the red and
red
green.
and blue. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the first 3D?
Yeah, I don't know what the first was, but I recently watched
because that was their Dolby.
Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th 3, and that was in 3D. But watching it, like now, they don't advertise as 3D, but the kids like playing with the yo-yo and just like
Yeah.
going in the camera's face. I'm like, what's that about? But that came out in '84, I think, and that was 3D. But I'm sure a movie.
Jaws
came out
3D was
before
probably right around then. But
Is-
yeah,
is
I
that
think this.
81?
I think it's like a
Early
50s
80s,
technology.
Jaws 3D. You got Jaws Revenge.
that. But yeah, that's something to look out for.
Do you consider
We will-
Close Encounters the sequel to Jaws?
Power of Love
Yeah.
in 1922.
Some people do.
Yeah.
That's the real Jaws too.
Yes.
Drivers is in both.
Yeah.
The Power of Love in 1922. Audiences viewed it with red and green anaglyph glasses.
There you go. 3D. Been around almost 100 years now.
But yeah, it's something to look out for. Movie Rats will be out within the next month.
I mean, we just recorded basically.
Well, yeah. So we'll
It's a
still have
commercial for it.
the
Yeah,
in person.
like,
We'll still
yeah.
have the in person, like what we're doing here, but it's something that will be more convenient after we watch a movie late at night, 10, 11 o'clock. We could go home, record via Zoom, essentially.
It's the
on
same universe,
StreamYard.
though. It's a part of the Club Rats universe. It's just a branch. I'm sure we'll have the video game branch if you have any ideas for us.
Oh man, I could talk for hours
Yeah.
on that shit.
Exactly.
Nintendo Rats, I don't know. We gotta workshop that.
Yeah, spitballing a little bit.
Super Rat World.
Mario Kart.
Club Rats
Frost,
64.
what do you-
Club Rat 64.
What do you?
That's a good
I
one.
actually like
Yeah,
that.
I like that. I like that
What
one.
did you thought? What did you say?
Club Rat 64.
It's good. Faraz, if you had like, you have to play 5 video games before you die in your life, in your existence. What would be your 5 games you pick?
Man.
System,
Putting me on
the
the
system
spot.
with the game. Just reaction. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Elden Ring.
I heard the game's great. I've never played it.
It's my favorite
I
game
heard it's
ever.
phenomenal.
Final Fantasy VII.
Which version?
PlayStation. The original.
Oh, okay, cool. Fun.
He's looking at the shirt. Are you trying to figure out what it is? It's
No,
Street
like-
Fighter.
It's Contra.
Yeah.
Street Fighter
It's
2.
aliens, right? Basically.
Which
Right.
one? Turbo?
I really love, like, for some reason, I always had fond memories of playing Champion Edition. Because it was at, like, the Pistol Pete's,
Gotcha.
back in the day on the arcade. But
Pistol Pete's was like Chuck E. Cheese for poor people. So
Did you guys see Pistol Pete saying, "I don't want to die when I'm playing basketball when I'm 40"? And then he was playing a basketball game and he has a heart attack and died of playing basketball.
wasn't Mike Trensky there?
Exactly.
So
What-
what's that 3?
That's 3.
What's your favorite Nintendo 64 game?
Zelda or GoldenEye? Right?
Yeah, GoldenEye was my first. That's
Isn't
Smash
first
Brothers
came
good,
out.
though,
Isn't
too.
Perfect Dark actually better than GoldenEye though?
Probably.
No,
Like in
no.
balance. In balance,
No.
it
It's a
probably
better
is.
game.
It's
It just doesn't have
It's just a
Bond.
more
GoldenEye's-
refined. It's a more refined version of GoldenEye.
GoldenEye's
You're just
great.
being a misogynistic pig. All right.
You
Because,
just don't like it because
Yeah,
she's a
it's
girl.
a
No,
girl.
GoldenEye. When you
Girls
play
can
that
shoot
game,
too.
yeah.
GoldenEye was the game in the store that you would play.
Yes, 100%.
So
it
it's
sold a
just-
lot of consoles.
Yeah, it's just in your mind.
It's classic.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about GoldenEye. It's kind of like the A-list.
I actually wanted to set it up in here. Would you guys ever play?
Yeah, sure.
Fuck you guys up.
I have
No odd job though.
I have a Nintendo 64.
If we have anybody watching, if you guys want to see like gaming content or any type of content where we face off against each other, by all means, like we can make that shit happen. So you're at 3 or 4 games, John or Faraz.
Damn.
So you have.
You're not gonna put a Metal Gear on there?
He said Metal Gear 7. No, he said Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy 7.
Probably Deus Ex, which was a game that came out on PC 2000. It actually probably is a game that shaped my worldview.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 'cause it just
It's like
was-
Sims.
No, it talks about
Roller Coaster
the
Tycoon over here.
conspiracy. Like it just talks about like conspiracy, but it was actually talked about like how corporations
Like-
like gradually become more powerful over time, and it actually referenced a lot of real world events.
We're all
And
slugs
that's-
now, Frost.
Yeah, we're all
You're
slugs.
slugs.
We're all slugs, and we're just trying to eat some shit.
Yeah.
It's more
Sugar.
motorcycle.
It's all bullshit.
It's all
What-
bullshit.
you're a big video gamer, so what's your top 5?
Final Fantasy 7, probably Zelda 64. I think that's, if we're going to argue which one's the best one, I would say the 64 version is the best one. I would put Hades on there. I think that's a really underrated game.
Really
That's
good
so
game.
much fun.
I heard that's great.
You can pretty much get it on any console. Super Mario World.
Yep.
And my 5th, I really, you know what? I'm going to go Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it's a perfect game.
Interesting.
I'm more new school because obviously you guys are a little bit
Skyrim,
older than
that's
me.
one I forgot.
So Skyrim actually is in my top 5.
Yeah, 'cause
Skyrim,
yeah.
man, that game was fucking insane for me. So I have Skyrim, I have Fallout 3. I liked Fallout 3 better than Fallout
Okay.
New Vegas. I thought 3 was the perfect game with storyline. Random game, but Def Jam 5 for New York. I played the shit out Def Jam 5 for New York.
Vendetta's better than Fight for New York,
No,
though.
I don't think so. I think
Wow.
5 for New York's better. I played that on PS2, the original Xbox, and the PSP. Super Mario World was like the first game I remember playing. I think it was like my 5th birthday. All I wanted for my birthday was to watch you beat it 'cause I couldn't get past like the second island. But that game and playing
Fucking
it
noob.
and playing it now on the Nintendo Switch with my kid, it's fucking awesome. And then to round out the top 5, I know 2K's bad now, but like
Oh, come on.
2K11, 2K11
Okay,
was
price
awesome.
Stop it.
Yeah.
NBA
6
2K
was up there. 6 or
I
7.
Yeah, there was a golden era.
NBA 2K11 for me, I know you guys don't play My Player, but that was when they got the My Player right. It was fun. They created the online aspect where you could play with your other friends and their My Players. I thought that game was sick.
If I had to pick one basketball game, it'd be NBA Street.
Oh, Street's a classic, but it's more arcadey. I like
Or
NBA Jam.
NBA Jam.
My top 5.
Yeah, John.
NBA Jam. I love Doom.
Oh shit, that's another
Yeah,
classic.
The whole
good.
Doom series.
The Doom series is phenomenal.
GoldenEye. Was that 3?
3.
I love the Medal of Honor series.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way when you shoot, God, I think it's an M1 Grand. So in an M1 Grand, when you shoot the rifle, it's like 5 bullets, and then it makes a ka-ching song, and it pops off, and you have to put a new shell in. I just thought that, I don't know, it just stuck with me. The fact that I remembered it, it had that feeling when you're holding a controller. And then, did I say Grand Theft Auto?
No.
I love Grand Theft
Which
Auto.
one?
The whole, all of them. From one, I started the high view when you look
Oh,
at
really?
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
1 to 2 to.
On the
Did you
original
play,
PlayStation.
London, 1969.
Yes, I remember that game.
Yeah.
So the PCs, I thought, I just, the Grand Theft Auto
It
whole
is-
series,
yeah.
it's a transformation. It was unbelievable.
GTA 6 coming out is going to be.
I don't know if I'll
otherworldly.
buy it, but I should.
You probably should.
It's the biggest multimedia release
Yeah.
ever.
Oh, a game I forgot. Red Dead Redemption 2. I played
Great
the
game.
hell out of that game. I remember.
If I'm about to die, though, that's not the game I want to play. Because I'll just get really sad.
Yeah, that's true. But Red Dead 2 was awesome.
It was really good.
Speaking of
Super.
shooter game or war game, the first Call of Duty on the 360 with
Call
the
of Duty
graphics. Yeah, Call of Duty 3. That game was
Tremendous.
insane.
Tremendous.
And
I lost a girlfriend over that game.
I don't blame you for that.
I would just go to school, I'd come home. And
That was
I'd
also
play
when
Call of
flat
Duty.
screens first came out, and like seeing the change from the original Xbox to 360, the graphics on the flat screen, it was insane.
Call of Duty, when you're storming the Normandy Beach, the World War II version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like insane.
It was cinema.
And then when you're a terrorist, you evolve into a terrorist. It's like real life. The guy says no Russian, and then
Yeah,
you're in an airport, and you're just
Oh,
blowing
modern
everybody.
Modern Warfare.
Modern
yeah,
Warfare.
Yeah.
Modern
yeah.
Warfare 2.
Those,
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2.
The way they did both of those scenes, that was incredible.
I mean, it was controversial.
Yeah.
It still
Did
is.
you guys do it,
actually.
or did you not do it?
Of course
Oh,
I did it.
yeah, I played it. I played it
Did you
online.
Yeah, because
Like
it gave you the option before that you
Yeah.
could skip
Yes.
it.
That's
if you
how
wanted
crazy
to.
it was.
Yeah,
That-
it
insane.
really was.
It was revolutionary.
You're
for its time.
perpetrating a mass shooting.
Those are the games I think.
That
yeah,
game-
exactly.
Yes.
I mean, it probably created how many mass
The
shootings?
people that said yes, they need to be like those.
Yeah,
People need to be documented.
Well,
and
yeah,
found.
exactly.
That game came out 16 years ago, and
Yeah.
that scene is still being played.
Tremendous.
And
I
social
haven't played the
media today.
remake. I don't know if they included it.
No,
I also-
they did. It's the same thing.
I didn't have it in my top 5, but anything Mario, Super Mario, NES,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
tough, you know.
you can play
limiting-
those games are timeless. I can play. That's actually what I play now. I play Mario Golf.
Great game.
It's a great game. What's the game where you play games in the Mario world?
Mario Party.
Mario Party. I play
Yeah.
that.
That's something we could do. I mean, I have a Switch.
Yeah.
I know you two have Switches.
Mario's I mean, it's right there.
Do you have a Switch? You said.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we could all play Mario Party.
Yeah.
You could have a Mario Party.
Back to NBA. Is there anything else we want to touch on free agency to round it out?
That ship has sailed in my brain right now.
Yeah.
Summer League 7 days away.
You guys down to go?
100%.
Yeah.
Who's playing in the summer league that you guys want to see the most?
I mean, we want to see Ugo, so.
Do you want to see? Is Fly going to play?
Oh, I'm sure they're all going to play.
Maybe a
of
game
course,
or
I
two.
want to see the Celtics picks, but who I'm really excited to see, I want to see the Spurs with Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. That's
Good
who I
call.
want to see play.
That's a
I'm
good
sure you
call.
want to see Cedric Howard play.
I'm really
that
excited to
was
see
your guy,
Chaz Lanier,
big guy, right?
Second
Yeah.
round pick.
It was that pick 38.
something like that.
Yeah,
Tennessee. He's good.
He's
but-
not
Oh, he
bad.
is good.
Yeah,
He
he's
was
not
good.
bad.
He's pretty good.
I want to see Yakuchunas play. Like we already mentioned that was a steal by the Heat. He'd always find somebody. Now let's hope he doesn't sleep with Eric Spoelstra's new girl, so he doesn't get rotted on the bench. But yes, I 100% want to go summer league, and we will be there. So if y'all are watching, check us out. We'll have stickers. We'll have stickers handing it out.
All right, my name is John. This is Club Rats.
Faraz.
Billy.
I'm Jesiah. Shoot us a like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next week. Peace.